Well, today we are going to have a review of the speaking section of the exam. What do you know about this section, guys? The speaking section of the CAE exam. Who says me?
Me, I know that there's I don't remember, but I think it's two parts or something like that. And in one of each, you have to talk with a partner and the evaluator in front of you, he asking you about some topic or something like that.
Okay, almost all of it was right. But instead of two parts, there are four parts. Uh-huh. Yes. Well, and in two of these parts, you have some interaction with the other candidate. And in the first two parts, you have interaction just with the examiner. Uh-huh. Okay. What else do you know, Teresita?
I don't remember, but one is to describe something, for example, an image, and you have to describe what you can see in the image and to answer some questions. And when you are interacting with your partner, I don't remember very well, but you have to ask something and to use complex language and different connections. It's
Well,
the thing that I
uh-huh.
remember.
Well, in part two, yes, you have to describe two images out of three, because this is different from FCE. In FCE, you only have to compare, contrast, and describe and answer a question from two images. They give you two images. But in CAE, they give you three images, and you have to choose two images. And we are going to check it. Don't worry. What about the time? The duration of the interview for CAE? Yes, Lou. Thank you. No?
Microphone. Sorry, teacher.
Microphone.
I couldn't open my microphone. Well, it is supposed to be 1 minute for the description, or we're discussing. I don't remember now.
Okay,
yes,
don't worry.
you have to choose these two images, and you are talking about the images you choose. And 1 minute, and 1 minute, teacher. No,
not
or
really,
two.
but around two. For
Two,
part one,
yeah,
it
yes,
is 2
because
minutes.
yes, yes, you're
Okay.
right. Yes, 2 minutes
Well,
to
don't
talk about
worry.
that.
I am going to ask you to help me with this. Can you start reading this, please?
Sure, teacher. The C1 Advanced Speaking Test has 4 parts, and you take it together with another candidate. There are 2 examiners. One of the examiners conducts the test, asks you questions, gives you the paper with things to talk about, and so on. The other examiner listens to what you say and takes notes. Summary, time allowed, 15 minutes per pair of candidates. Number of parts, 4. And you have to talk with the examiner, with the other candidate, and on your own.
So they tell you the interview is about 15 minutes, Pepe. I know 15 minutes, teacher, speaking English. Yes, but you are going to take this interview with another candidate, sometimes with two other candidates. If there is an uneven number of people, they will make you take the interview with two other candidates. So, but usually you have these two examiners. One is in front of you. He will lead the conversation. He will be the one who will give you instructions, and the other one is just taking notes, evaluating. So they say, well, you have in part one and part two, you have interaction only with the examiner. But parts 3 and 4, you have interaction with the other candidate. So before we go into practice, I decided to include some tips for you. Yes, Diana, the first two tips. Microphone.
Okay. The first is practice regularly with a partner or in front of a mirror to feel more comfortable and confident.
Yes, if you practice regularly, it will, and this is what we are going to do during the course. You will feel more comfortable and more confident. Okay, next one, Diana.
Work on building a diverse vocabulary to express yourself more precisely and friendly.
We have mentioned the importance of keeping a vocabulary notebook. So, but the important thing is not only to write these words and to store and to have this compilation of words, but also to use them in your regular practice. Okay, Ere, the next two tips. Microphone.
Sorry. Yes. Provide detailed answers. Try to be concise and to the point. Don't overextend your responses. Demonstrate your command of English language by incorporating a variety of grammatical structures and complex sentences.
It is important to keep balance because some people, some people go to the extreme. Some people don't speak and they just say yes, no. And in this, if you do this, they cannot check your English. There is no way that they can evaluate something because you are not producing. But there is the other extreme when you overtake the conversation and the interaction. So balance your answers. Not too much, not too little, not too much. And when they say don't overextend your responses, yes, concentrate on giving objective answers and right to the point, but not too many ideas. And the command of your English, they say that you need different grammar structures that we need to use. Okay, then Teresita, thank you.
Yes, focus on clear pronunciation and intonation. Be aware of your
Listen.
Okay. Listen carefully to the question. This will help you to provide relevant and focused answers. Focus on clear pronunciation and intonation. Be aware of your pacing to avoid speaking too quickly or too slowly.
So they tell you pay attention to the questions because you need to be there, really present in order to answer something logical and coherent and according to the question. And the other one, you don't have to speak really fast like blah, 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 blah. No. Take it easy, but at the same time, try to continue with the pace of the conversation so that you have like the rhythm of the conversation. Okay, so that you have a logical expression of your ideas. Okay, well, next one. This is for Rebe. These two are for Rebe.
Yes, show enthusiasm. This positive attitude can enhance your enhance your overall performance. Take a brief moment to collect your thoughts before responding to provide more organized and thoughtful answers.
Yes, they tell you be positive, smile. I guess you were smiling, Rebe. Although I didn't see that smile, I guess you were smiling. So this positive attitude will help you to connect with the examiner and with the other candidate. And this is also something important in job interviews. If you're like, no sé, ¿pa qué vine? So try to be more positive. And as you said, try to take some moment before you speak, like not forever, not 20 minutes, but at least you can, we are going to check a list of phrases that you can use to gain some time before you respond, so that you can have time to organize your ideas. Well, then two more. These are for Alvaro. Thank you.
Yes, avoid repetition of the same words by using synonyms and expressions to showcase your language skills. And be prepared for follow-up
Follow-up.
questions to elaborate further on your answers.
In this case, they tell you try to use synonyms, try to use some other expressions. Not always. It is very common, and I also do it, I confess, that we always say, I think. Well, let's learn. We are going to learn more phrases that you can use instead. Well, to give, to enrich how you express your opinions. This part that says showcase is like to show off, to show your English in a more natural and expressive way. Then follow-up questions are these questions that the examiner will ask you so that you continue producing. Because sometimes they ask you a question and you just, yes, I love going out at the weekend. Well, it is logical that if you don't give a long enough answer, the examiner will ask you more questions related to that question. So be prepared to answer these questions. They are going to explore more ideas on what you have just said. And the next two tips, Alex.
Yes, maintain eye contact. This enhances your connection with the listener. Stay calm and confident. Remember that the examiner is assessing your overall communication skills.
You know what is the sad part of this, Alex?
What is?
That I cannot keep eye contact with you.
Yeah, it's a drawback.
Maybe next class. Eye contact. And this part, stay calm and confident during the exam. I know it is really difficult. For me, I would say this is the most difficult part of an interview, to stay calm and confident. But remember, the more prepared you get to the exam, the better your chances of staying calm and confident. So let's get more practice. This is speaking part one. This is the first part of the interview. Remember, in the day of the exam, let me show you. The day of the exam, you will be with another person. You are not taking the interview alone. So they will invite you to get into the place in a nice way, and you will be invited to sit down and everything. And I decided to include the instructions so that you cannot read the instructions in the exam. You can only listen to the examiner, but these are the instructions that you will hear from the examiner. So I think Luke can help us with this, with the instructions.
Sure, teacher. Speaking part one. 2 minutes or 3 for groups of 3. Good morning or afternoon or evening. My name is Lou, and this is my colleague, Israel.
Soy Changuito.
And your names are, and can I have your mark sheets, please? Thank you. First of all, we'd like to know something about you. Select 1 or 2 questions and ask candidates in turn as appropriate. And the questions are, where do you live? What do you do here or there? How long have you been studying English? What did you enjoy most about learning English?
Okay. Thank you, Lu. This part, it is important to describe this part because the day of the interview, you will sit down in front of the examiner, but you won't be able to see the instructions. You will only listen to the instructions, but this is what the examiner will say. First, good morning, hello. My name is, and my colleague. So they are going to introduce each other, but it is important to remember just to say hello to both of them, but don't pay attention to the person who is not in front of you. He will only be like writing notes. But in this case, it says, "Can I have your mark sheets?" You will have with you. Well, if it is person to person, let's say, you will have your a piece of paper where you will have all the necessary information to give to the examiner. So you will be asked for this paper, and the examiner will take this paper and will give it to the other examiner. So don't pay attention to that. And then these are the first questions. For sure, they will ask you some of these questions. Where do you live? I live in beautiful Iztapalapa, which is a very nice place to live. I live there with my family, and I enjoy living there because it is a very nice place where a lot of people enjoy of life. So try to give not just I live in Iztapalapa. No, try to develop your answer. So you have these questions. Where do you live? What do you do there? It refers to your job or your studies, something like that. Well, we have more questions that are common for this part of the interview. And I think Diana can help us to read the first three questions. Thank you.
Sorry, teacher?
The first three questions, can you read them? These ones here.
Do you think?
What free activity?
What free time activity do you most enjoy? Free activity? Well, before was
Free time activity.
Free time activity. Well, before this semester was the gym, but actually right now I think right.
Writing.
Writing.
Poetry or what?
Sorry?
Writing poetry or writing?
No, no, only I need to write some planners or something like that.
Okay. Well.
What sort of work would you like to do in the future? Well, in the future, I would like to write a lot of articles, and I have international name.
You want to become
I would like that because I think they are well. I have some ideas that the people needs to know. If you want. What more? I think that I would like to write about different topics, only about development and the development in the world and the incomes and pensions. I think they are interesting topics. I would like to write about that.
Excellent. Well, as you can see, there are many different topics that you will be asked to that you will be able to talk about. The topics are very common topics like work, studies, entertainment, for example, the activities, the free time activities, or things about your school. So you have a lot of different questions. Do you think you spend too much time working or studying? Do you like using the internet to keep in touch with people? Have you celebrated any recently? Any celebrating anything? And how you celebrate? So next one. If you could travel to one country in the world, where would you go? Italy, for sure. For me, riding my bicycle in Italy, imagine that. How important is it to you to spend time with your family? Remember, it is always important to include reasons. And if it is possible, some examples of this. Well, how important is it to you to spend time with your family? Why and why not? And the last one, who do you think has had the greatest influence on your life? So let's do something. Let's practice these questions in pairs. I will open the room. I will send you the link again for the how do you say this? For the presentation. Again, because Lou, she's always, teacher. Hello, Lou. No, but it is great. So let me just, in case you don't have the link, I will send it. You can now open it, and I will open the rooms for you to practice together. Okay? So remember the tips that we were checking. Try to give answers like 20 seconds, 30 seconds per answer. Try to develop your answers. Then we are going to check in some other classes, we are going to check some sample answers. Don't worry. At this time, just enjoy it with your part. Well, let me open the rooms. How can I do it? Hello, Rebe. Again, Rebe. Hello. Well, you will be there with two people. Let me just. Let me just open it. Well, go there, please.
I'm okay, thank you. There are only us. No, there is Alejandro too. Hi, Alejandro.
Yeah, hi Tere, hi Rebe.
Hi, Alex.
Okay. Well, let's start. For example, Rebe, tell me, what free time activity do you most enjoy and why?
I think that one of the most activities that I enjoy could be going to the cinema. I think that it's a place which reminds me to my childhood, because I remember every weekend going with my father to the cinema. So now that I'm older, I always I try to go to the cinema at least once a week, because it's something that I really enjoy. And is watching the movies, it's very entertaining, and I also think that it gives you a topic to talk about with some people. So I think that that's one of the activities that I really enjoy. But also watching movies at home, it's nice. So maybe the activity that I enjoy is watching movies and not going to the cinema. I don't know.
Yes,
And
totally. It's a really nice activity.
yeah, and you, Tere? What's the
Mm,
the free time activity that you most enjoy?
In my case, I have three. The first one, it could be to go to the gym. I really love to do some exercise. The second would be to shopping. And the last one will be to keep learning something all the time. For example, I can change this for swimming, ride a bicycle, to read, to anything. But talking about the most important for me is to do some exercise. And I think it is nice because keeps me in a relaxed way, you know? And yeah, I think that's all. What about you, Alex?
Well, that was interesting, Teresita. The activity that I enjoy the most during my free time is visiting art museums. I find them really interesting, and I love observing paintings, especially paintings from old times. You know, before the modern art appears. I think the art of ancient times was far away more beautiful than the art nowadays. Another free
Okay,
time.
and what is your favorite
uh,
museum? Sorry.
I don't think I have a favorite museum because I haven't visited enough of them to pick one as my favorite. But one I really enjoyed visiting was uh, the National Art Museum. Have you ever been there?
Which one? Sorry.
The National Art Museum.
I think it is called
Uh,
Munal. Is
Yeah,
it?
okay.
yeah, that
I've been
one.
there. Yes, I've been there.
Mhm. That is one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
it is a really nice place. Talking about not about the collection that they have, but I really enjoyed the architecture and the place.
Mhm.
Some months ago, there was a Monet exposition, and I went
Exhibition.
there exhibition, and I went there and I really enjoyed it. I love Monet, Van Gogh, and I will say Botticelli. They are one of my favorites. Yeah.
I also love the architecture in there. Uh, in front of the Munal building, there is the Mining Palace, which is another huge piece of architecture.
Yeah, I really love it. I went there when I
Well, my weekend was very was relaxed, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because I just spend the time with my wife on
Okay.
weekend.
Yes.
I think I got a little rest.
That's good. Weekends are for that, I think.
Yeah. Um, well, I think we need to speak with these questions.
Yes,
Yes.
of course. Go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The first question is what free time activity do you most enjoy?
Uh, I when I have free time, I enjoy to do gardening. I love yeah, gardening because it is very relaxing for me, and I like to see all the insects around the flowers, like bees, and also there arrive many colibris birds, and I like a lot gardening, and yeah, I think it's one of my favorites activity, my favorite activity. And of course, the plants need some cares, like water and maybe some kind of I don't know how to say, vitamins or something like that, in order
Vitamins,
to grow.
yes.
Vitamins, yeah, in order to grow up.
Oh, it sounds really good.
Yeah.
Okay, in my case, I think I like to go outdoor and
Mhm.
maybe try when I have opportunity. I go camping
Mm,
and I like to visit different places near to my house. I like to go to Amecameca or Cuautla, Morelos, because it's near to my house. And I
Okay.
tried the food, the activities, all the scenery near to the mountains, near to the volcano.
Yes.
And what I like to do that because I feel better, and I think it's a good way to get relaxed.
Alvaro, and do you think it's safe to camping? I don't know, or where do you camp? I mean, in open air, or you go to a special place with security, or what about this stuff? Because I like to do it too. So many years ago, I used to camp, but I used to camping, but nowadays I don't know if it is very secure.
Uh, Maybe, well, for example, in Morelos, there is a place called Las Estacas,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a water park or a park where there are a lot of water. And there is
Okay,
a special place to camping. So there
okay,
is a secure, and you have access to the bathroom in order to take
okay,
showers, and so this kind of stuff. And
okay.
you need to go with your camping tent, your sleeping
Mm-hmm.
bags, and all the just the material that you need.
Okay,
In my case, I used to go camping in that kind of places
okay.
because you have the secure of the park. So
Of
nobody
course.
enter. Yes, nobody enter in that place after I know don't remember, maybe after 8 p.m. Nobody enter.
Mhm.
So you yes
And what about the state of Mexico? Because you say also Morelos and the state of Mexico. In what kind of parks? I think I have gone just one time to Las Estacas, but and I don't know in the state of Mexico if there's a similar park.
I think in the state of Mexico is more dangerous
Mm-hmm.
because there aren't enough security for for the people.
Yeah.
In that case, I prefer to go to Las Estacas or other place like that because
Okay.
just because the secure or
Yes.
security. There are issues in the states of Mexico and other places.
Yeah.
But if you want to go, it could be a good option to go to Las Estacas, and you will have fun in that place.
Okay. Thank you. And what sort of
Control all the time. I don't know. Well, I don't spend time doing how do you say when you do when you clean your house?
Okay, doing
The
chores.
chores,
Church. I don't spend a lot of time in the church, chores,
chores,
chores in the
uh-huh.
house, or wash the
Doing
clothes
the
or something like
laundry.
that. But studying and working, yes.
Okay.
Mm,
So that's the point when we are working and we are housekeeping at the same time. Work never ends. But
yes, I
what can I
know.
tell you?
It's only
Okay.
for a short time, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I
3 or
suppose.
4 years more, and that's all.
Excellent, Diana. Okay, let's
Yes.
move on to another question, Diana. Shoot.
Okay. I continue. What other? Maybe how important is it to you to spend time with your family? No.
Well, in my view, it's something basic. The most important people in the world is my family. And
And your
although,
teacher.
and my teacher,
Yes,
yes,
and the
well,
teacher.
it's because he has been like a part of my family lately.
Eh,
For some years, we've been together, and I consider him, yes, part of me, for part of my personality as well.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's well. I don't know. Maybe we should spend more time with our family, respecting their times as well. I mean, because in my case, for instance, I have my sons are I'm not children anymore, so they have their own activities and stuff. But as far as I can have any time with them, I do it because it's important to spend time with your family, with your maybe if you are married with your husband and your children, but the with your mother and your siblings and
With your
all the
20
family that
husbands.
you have. Yes, because they are part of what you are. So they are the ones who are really there for you, and they should be. Yes, I
Yes, I
consider this.
agree with you. In some cases, it's difficult, but yeah, you need to do this time to spend with your family because it's necessary.
Yes, because now that you know that nothing in life is should be taken for granted. So uh, you are now here, but you don't know
You don't
later,
know.
maybe tomorrow or whatever. So I don't want to be pessimistic or something like all catastrophic thoughts. But yes, you need to have this in mind. Every single minute counts. So uh, try to be with your family as much as you can.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. Who do you think has had the greatest influence on your life, Diana, and why?
Oh, well, had a great influence in your life. Well, I think there are some persons, but I think my mom is the
Okay.
principal. Well, because when you are growing, you are knowing different kind of people. But the principal is my mom, and after that, I think I have some persons that I listen, and they are writers. I think other kind of persons, maybe some teachers that I have.
Rael Gonzalez, thank you.
that I have, because it's rare, but in my case, when you are advancing,
Yeah, advancing.
you are meeting value more value persons. I think so.
Valor.
Yes.
Okay.
And that person changed your life with her life philosophy.
Okay, that's good. I consider that it's the majority of people consider that their parents are the ones or the greatest influence on their
Yes, I think so.
lives, because of course we learn from them since the very beginning, the first things in life, and maybe they are the most important part of our lives, and we consider them a great influence. But yes, they could be, there are a lot of people, maybe not from our family, that could influence our lives. In my
Yes.
case lately, not because he is here now, but I consider that teacher
It's
Israel
right.
has been a really nice influence.
I
in
am
my
on
life.
fire today.
Recording this part.
Exactly.
No, I've known a lot of people, and most of them, I mean, I have this idea about the teachers that we've been knowing through our life, because of course they are sharing the knowledge with you, and they are guiding you in a way that you are learning a lot of new things that you are discovering with him or with her, new knowledge. And it's really amazing the way I've been having this new information about the language, in this case with teacher Israel. And I consider that he had recommended a lot of things, and a lot of books and a lot of ideas that I've been trying to develop and follow all the time,
Yes.
because I consider the knowledge is always important, and I think it's a great influence in our
Luke,
lives.
you
Teachers.
cannot see my face at this moment, but I am like smiling, almost crying and smiling at the same time.
From year to year.
Uh, yes. Uh-huh.
Yes, teacher, that's the truth. Teachers are
Thank you.
a really nice influence in your life. So
Yeah.
as far as I've been dedicating some time to this new way of studying the language here, is he has been a great influence in my life for the, I don't know, late 3 years at least. Is right, teacher?
Yeah, with music, with books. Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot of things, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So let's move on, Diana.
Please, could you repeat me the question?
Sorry?
What is the question? Do you think you spend too
You
much time
spend a lot of
working?
time working, studying?
Well, every day I dedicate like or about 5 or 6 hours to study to improve my skills. So although I know that is a good amount of time to dedicate to study, I feel as if it is never enough. You know,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
it is easily to get or to think that you should have studied more.
Yeah, totally. And don't you have a job?
Currently, no, no,
Okay.
not now.
You have just finished your major?
I finished it about 2 years ago.
Ah, okay, and you are studying. Okay, I
Yeah,
got
well,
it.
I worked 1 year as a mine geologist.
Okay.
Then I work another 3 months an exploration geologist. And yeah, now I am unemployed, but I attending this course and I am also learning French and learning some software that are required in my major.
It sounds really nice. Well, next question for you, Rebe. Do you like using the internet to keep in touch with people?
Yeah, of course. I think that, as you say, as a millennial or Gen Z, I don't know what I am, but it is common to use the internet this way. I think that I don't know if you think the same, but I think that for me it's easier to send a WhatsApp than calling someone. So that's why internet for me is the most useful way to get connected with people. So Also, the other social apps are really helpful. Um, but yeah, internet, I think that it's the best way, because you can also talk with people around the world without thinking in the cost of a call or something like that. For example, I have some family in USA and in Europe, and we can talk by internet with them, and it's very useful. Yeah. And you?
Yes, I think it's a really useful tool. I use as you were telling us. But for example, in my case, even if we have the internet and a lot of websites to learn something, I think a lot of information is on books, on some magazines, and those kind of information fields. But nowadays, yeah, I'm really into internet and I think it is really necessary. For example, if you travel, if you work online, if you are, I don't know, this kind of software engineers or those kind of things, I think it's really useful. And what about you, Alex?
Yeah, as you two said, it is a very useful tool to uh, to communicate.
Sorry. No more gossip. Ah. Well, was it difficult to continue speaking that time or quite easy? Who says me, teacher? Uh-huh. Okay, how did you feel it during this short activity?
We were, I was talking with Alvaro about many things.
Mhm.
Yeah, many things of maybe from another stuff than the questions, but
Uh-huh.
yes, we were having I think a nice talk. Yeah.
Okay, just remember during the exam you should focus on the questions. I know it is like here we discuss many things, but during the interview you should focus on the question. Yeah. Okay. What about you, Rebe? How did you feel?
Um, I feel I think that these activities are really helpful, at least for me, because I think that of course the questions are things that I don't think, or I don't commonly talk about with people,
Mm-hmm.
and it also helps me to think, like the normal things that I speak with people in Spanish. I haven't spoken that in English, so it's helpful for me to think about the vocabulary that I normally use in Spanish, how to say it in English. It's really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I get really nervous, because, for example, today I don't feel like really focused. I don't know why. So sometimes I think that I'm not as good as other days, and that makes me feel nervous.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that sometimes the day is not going so well, or maybe you are thinking about many other things. But I think it is well. I consider I consider it is important to concentrate, and something that can help you to concentrate is to start your camera too. When you start your camera, as Diana said, well, she took a moment, but when you start your camera, it makes you be like more present or more connected. Well, and what about you, Lou? How did you feel in this activity?
Well, I feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
speaking on the topics, and
Mm-hmm.
I consider that it's important to have this chance to practice with our partners, because sometimes, as Rebe was saying, and there are some topics that we are not used to talk about it in daily life, right? At least they are not the common things you are talking with your partner. So I think it's really a good chance to have this practice.
Okay, okay. Well, I sent a message on the WhatsApp group. I have some suggestions for you because, well, let's try to find more natural phrases. So, one of the activities I enjoy the most, that would be more natural. One of the activities I enjoy the most is cycling or is reading. Then we say go shopping. I love going shopping. Some grammar. Then it keeps me relaxed. When you say, like this kind of activities keeps me or keep me relaxed. Okay, some people are not in the group. Yes, let me add you, Alvaro. Just give me a second, guys. Yes, let me resend the message so that everybody receives this. Okay. Well, then another one. Art galleries and museums. Art galleries and museums. Then an art exhibition, not exposition, exhibition. Then I like gardening a lot, not I like a lot gardening. Remember, in English, there is a grammar rule, let's say. Not everybody respects that, but it is a grammar rule. You cannot separate the verb from the object. If you say, I like a lot gardening, you are separating the verb like with the object, gardening. That is why it is more natural to say, I like gardening a lot. I love my teacher a lot, not I love a lot my teacher. In Spanish, we can do it and there's no problem. But in English, it doesn't sound natural. So try not to separate the verb from the object. Then it is near my house. So some people sometimes add a preposition. It is near to my house, but I think it is more natural not to add any preposition. It's near my house. And some people were saying, how do you say this kind of lakes or yeah, well, we say natural pools like lakes or rivers or then you have the security of going, of doing, or of a place. Then there isn't enough security. And how do you say this in Spanish? Quehaceres de la casa. That we say
Chores.
House chores. Well, then doing the laundry, for example, some examples. Doing the laundry, sweeping, mopping the floors, doing the dishes, cooking, cleaning. They are some examples. And then some phrases for you to express your opinion. I believe, I consider, I reckon, I guess. So you can use more phrases. I reckon
What
is
does it
like
mean, I
I think.
reckon?
I think or I believe. It is just a synonym. I reckon, I believe, I guess, I imagine, I suppose, more phrases. Then I think there are many people who have influenced my life, but the most important ones are my teachers and my parents. I don't know, or my parents and my teachers. More valuable people, like people who you value more. It is the best way to get connected with people, like having these internet lessons. Okay, well, Questions, problems about part one? Who says me? Teacher, I have a question about part one. No questions? Okay. Who says questions? No? Who has questions? No? Well, remember, this part is just 2 or 3 minutes, depending on the number of people and depending on how long some people extending their answers, but it is no more than 3 minutes. Okay? Well, then we have part 2. Okay, Teresita, can you help me reading this part 2? These are also the instructions, only the instructions.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to do it bigger because I cannot see. Okay.
You can
In
see my
part,
screen?
yeah, I can see now.
Okay.
In this part of the test, I'm going to give each of the I cannot see of you 3 pictures. I'd like you to talk about 2 of them on your own for about a minute, and also to answer a question briefly about your partner's pictures. Continue.
Yes, please.
Okay. Candidate A, it's your turn first. Here are your pictures. They show people doing things together. Place part 2. Booklet open at task 1 in front of a candidate A. I like you to compare 2 of the pictures and say why the people might be doing these things together and how the people might be feeling. All right? Yeah. Candidate A, interlocutor. Thank you. Candidate B, in which situation do you think the people benefit most from being together and why?
Okay,
Bien.
well, so in this section, as Teresita was reading, this section lasts about 4 minutes, depending on the number of people. And before you start like answering, you are giving the chance of having a look of 3 pictures. They present the pictures in front of you, and you have some time to look at these pictures. Then in this part of the test, you are asked to describe and compare, well, most of it, compare and contrast 2 pictures, only 2 of the 3 of them. For FCE, they were only 2 pictures. And you were supposed to describe, compare, contrast the 2 pictures and then answer 1 question. But here in CAE, for advanced levels, you are given 3 pictures. But you can, you should only focus on 2 of these pictures. For example, imagine you are giving these pictures and you only choose this one and this one. So remember, you are not able to read the instructions. Only listen to the instructions. But you will be able to see the 3 pictures, this part, and the 2 questions. So they give you 3 pictures, and you have to talk about 2 of them for about a minute, only a minute. And you have to answer a question. Only one of these questions. Why might the people be doing these things together, and how might the people be feeling? So these are the instructions. Imagine you cannot see the instructions. So the examiner is going to give you these instructions. In this part of the test, I'm going to give each of you 3 pictures, all of this. Then you are supposed to take your time to first watch the pictures and then do the task. They show people doing things together. I like you to compare 2 of the pictures and say why the people might be doing these things together and how the people might be feeling. So you have to choose 2 pictures to describe these ones, maybe, and 2 questions to answer. Okay. In this case, then when you finish describing, the examiner is going to ask the other candidate, candidate B, another question. For example, which situation do you think the people benefit the most from being together? This one, or this one? From the pictures that you wish. They don't have to be exactly the pictures that the other candidate was describing. It has, you can choose any of these 3 pictures. So, would you like to have some time to do the task? Remember, first you choose 2 pictures, only 2 pictures. And then you have to answer these questions about the 2 pictures. So it says, I like you to talk about them. Compare the 2 pictures. What kind of vocabulary can you use to compare? Of course, comparatives. The first picture, or while in the first picture we have 3 girls playing together, in the third picture we have 2 boys enjoying playing music together. First, you need to refer to the pictures by comparing them, not as much as describing. Try not to describe. Try to focus on comparing the 2 pictures and then contrasting. For example, in the second and the third picture, second picture, this one and this one. We have how do you say this? Let me erase them. In the first picture we have in the first picture we have 3 girls playing together. In the third picture we have 2 guys or 2 boys making music or doing music, making music together. And then the differences. Well, for example, you can concentrate on the things that they are doing. While in the first picture, they are just sharing a moment doing or eating together, maybe. In the second picture or in the third picture, we have some people playing music together or playing a musical instrument. Then we are going to learn step by step how to deal with this. And then the examiner is going to ask you these 2 questions. Why might the people be doing these things together? I think, I believe, I consider. You introduce your opinion and you give the answer. So, who wants to try? Who says me? Not today? Yes, Teresita.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I'm going to choose the first and the third one. Okay. Well, I think the body image are free time activities. For example, in the first one, you can see an free time activity in open fields, and the second one is one free activity that you can do in your house, in a school, or something like that. But I
Indoors?
think both of them are a really enjoyable free activities. Why? Because the first one, in the first image, you can walk and do some exercise. And in the second one, you can exercise your mind because you are learning something. And I will say that any of them could be a really good option for teenager people because you don't need a lot to do any of them. For example, in the first, obviously you need a teacher and maybe a train. But if somebody is guiding you, it is okay. And also for the third image, if you have a really good teacher, they are going to guide you to learn something better.
They can guide you to do something better. Okay. Well, then after the first candidate A, describes and compares the picture, the examiner asks the other candidate another question. For example, here we have the question. In which situation do you think people benefit most from being together? Okay, Alvaro, thank you. Sorry. In which situation?
Well, in my opinion, the first picture, the people could benefit most for being together because they stay joined and face the dangers ahead of them. And maybe it's a good opportunity to, I don't know, get stronger in the relationships of friendship. While the others two pictures could enjoy free time together, but I think the first picture is where they can be better.
Okay, excellent. So, as you can see, we need to develop some kind of a method that we are going to check during the courses. Don't worry. Well, I know it is like, really, teacher, it is a little bit complicated, but we are going to have the right training. Don't worry. Okay. What about part 3? Well, questions about part 2? Who says me? No? Don't worry. At this moment, it is just like we are getting to know this part. We are going to watch some videos, to listen to some people doing it, and to develop a good method to approach this little by little. Then we have part 3. Okay, part 3. Who else is there? Alex, can you read the instructions for part 3?
Yeah, sure. 21 making decisions. Part 3, 4 minutes, 6 minutes for groups of 3. Okay, part 3, interlocutor. Now I'd like you to talk about something together for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes for groups of 3. Here are some things that people often have to make decisions about and a question for you to discuss. First, you have some time to look at the task. Place part 3 booklet open at task 21 in front of the candidates. Allow 15 seconds. Now, talk to each other about what people might have to consider when making these decisions. Then candidates, 2 minutes, 3 minutes for groups of 3. Interlocutor, thank you. Now you have a minute, 2 minutes for groups of 3 to decide in which situation it is most important to make the right decision. Candidates, 1 minute or 2 minutes for groups of 3.
Okay, so in part 3, they give you a question. And some time to look at this question. Of course, they are not going to tell you immediately, do it now. No, you give some, you are given some time to read the question and the different aspects that you have to answer for this question. For example, the question, what might people have to consider when making these decisions? That is the main question, the general question, and then you have to answer the same question, but about these aspects. So, for example, choosing university. What things do you need to consider when choosing university? Who says me? What different aspects?
The cost
yes.
could be?
Money, okay. If it is public, well, maybe it is not so expensive. But if it is a private university, of course, you need to save money. Well, money, what else? Or the cost.
Field of
What other?
specialization. Field of
Ah.
specialization.
Yes, the subjects that you want to study. In this case, the specialty or something like that. Okay. And if they have the major that you want to study. What else? What other aspects?
The place where the university is, if it is, yeah. The
If it
place.
is far
Far away, or it is close, or it's abroad. I don't know. There are many options, I think. Or nowadays, if it is on site or online, because it's also a
possibility, yeah.
factor to take in account.
Okay, so in this part of the test, you have to, for example, as Eddie said, well, you need to consider the place, and then you are going to develop your answer. You don't have to answer like many things. Just you can give one possibility, for example, the place of the university. Because if you don't consider the where this university is, well, you may be end up studying in a very far away place, and it may not be so convenient. So try to give your answer and a reason, and if it is possible, an example, and then you ask your partner in this part of the test of the interview. You need to ask your partner about his opinion. First, you answer, and then, what do you think, Teresita? Or what do you think, Ere? So you give your opinion, and then you ask your partner, and then both of you move to the next. For example, Ere mentioned the place, and she gave some examples, and then she's supposed to ask me about my opinion. So I give my opinion, and then I move, or we move to the next place, starting a family. What aspects are important when you want to start a family? I don't know, teacher.
The economic factor, it is the most important for me, and also the
I would say
psychological.
the person, Teresita. Maybe she's very
Wow,
toxic.
you can have a baby or a family alone. It doesn't matter.
But I mean, first you need to find the right person to start a family, yeah? I don't want to start a family with a person who is crazy. Well, not again. Not again. Well, it was not a family as such, but it was a kind of a beginning. So, as you said, the financial part, let's say, the money, the person. What other aspects?
Psychological factor. If you are really into to have a baby or to have a
If you
family.
if you really want to have a family or not. Okay. What other aspects, Lou? To start a family.
Well, maybe the place where you are going to live.
Yeah, because you need to exist in a place. And the most appropriate the place for your family, the better for you and for everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then, well, remember, in this case, you are supposed to give your opinion, or to ask your partner about his opinion, and then or first you, and then you ask your partner. And then together, both of you move to the next aspect. Moving to another country. Who says me? What aspects do you need to consider before you move to another country, Rebe?
Maybe first the reason. Well, I don't know. Well, maybe first the language, of course. maybe if you are able to speak the language that speak in that country, of
They
course,
speak in country.
knowing how to speak English is useful, but are countries where they get angry if you speak them in English. So maybe the language, it's a thing to consider. Um, and also, what are you going to do there for living?
Yeah, if you can get a job easily there, or and also the economic situation of the country, or yeah, the economy of the country. Also,
And
what
I
other
think
aspects?
also,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I think that the another aspect, important aspect to see is the immigration policy, because sometimes for some countries it's easier to get the permanent resident, and in others it can pass many years and you never get the permanent resident. So I think it's an important aspect to consider.
For example, if you go to study in England, you cannot work. If they
Yeah.
see or they notice that you are working, you go back to your country. So I think it is in most of the places. If you don't have that permission, you shouldn't be doing it. So moving to another country also, I think it will also depend on the purpose. If you want to work, maybe some countries wouldn't be the best option. And I would say the culture is also important.
Yeah.
Maybe, well, for some countries, it could be the culture shock could be really difficult for you. Okay. So in this case, again, you give your opinion, your partner gives his opinion, and then you move to the next. But remember, you only have 4 minutes. So maybe, well, sorry, you have 2 minutes, or 2 minutes and a half to talk about not all of them. You don't need to cover all of them, but at least try to cover 3 aspects from the 5 aspects. And then the examiner gives you a minute to decide which is the best or the worst or the most or the So you and your partner are given some time to decide something for a situation. For example, here, you have to decide in which situation it is more important to take the right decision. Getting married or finding a job. So for you, which one is the most important? Well, in which situation it is more important to make the right decision for you? Who says me? No?
All of them.
All of them? No, but you
Yeah,
have to
but
choose one.
no, I think maybe choosing a university and getting married. I don't know which one of both are
A
very
personal
important, because
question, Tere. A
no,
personal
because the
question.
rest of the decisions or the cases, it depends of I mean of your education and of your partner, or your husband or your wife, or yeah.
As you said, it is not only dependent on you. It depends on other people. Okay, how many times have you thought about getting married, Ere?
Not really. I live with my partner. I'm not married, but we have lived I don't know, 6 years together now. So well, I mean it depends of your beliefs and your maybe your religion or something like that. But for me, the marriage is not a very important topic. I mean, if you want to be with the other person, you are going to be, and that's it. Yeah, it's a
Uh-huh.
compromise
You don't
between
need
two.
to get
You
married.
you don't need to compromise with, I don't know, religion, civil laws, or all this stuff. It's a compromise between two, and if they want to be together, they will. If not, it's finished. C'est fini.
That's the thing. Okay. Well, so for you, Rebe, which is the most difficult? The most important, sorry, to consider.
To getting married, yeah, maybe of course first the partner.
Mhm.
But if you decide that you want to marry that person, I think something to consider is the religion, um, maybe the future plans,
Mhm.
because it's not the only thing that you're going to do in your life. I put an example that my dream is to live abroad and my partner don't want to live abroad. So that maybe it's something to consider. So the future
Mhm.
plans or to talk about what they want to do in the future is something important. Of course, if they want to have or not children, is important. And I think that's the most important because maybe the economics or the money is not for me is not important. um I think that mm, the
You
things
can
that I
always uh, you can always steal money from
yeah.
others. Okay. Well, in this part of the exam, remember, you are going to have interaction with the other candidate. As you can see in the picture, the two candidates are working together. That is why it is important not to monopolize the conversation because you have some specific time to do it. And also, it is important to ask questions to the other candidate. But at the same time, you need to move from one aspect to another. Then after 2 minutes, the interviewer is going to stop you. Don't get worried if or don't get nervous if the interviewer stops you. And then he's going to ask you to make a decision together. You will have to try to convince your partner that your idea is the most important. But don't worry if you don't convince or you don't agree. So it is really similar to the one in FCE, but for CAE it is a little bit. Well, the topics are a little bit more complex, and the questions are a little bit more complex too. But don't worry, we will check how to do it in the next classes. Okay. Well, questions about part 3? Who says me? I love my students. They don't have any questions. Okay. If you have a question, you can also write it. Don't worry. Well, and part 4, remember that the total interview is about 15 minutes. So part 4 is also about your opinion, but this time you will interact with the other candidate. So sometimes, well, you will listen, you will only listen to the questions. You won't be able to read the questions. I decided to include all the instructions so that you could read them. But in the real exam, you won't be able to read the questions. Okay. So the interlocutor will say, choose the following. No. The interlocutor will start with one of the questions. So let's read the questions. Alex, can you read the questions?
Yes. Is it best for people to make decisions on their own or to ask others for advice? Why not? Some people think it is best to plan their lives carefully.
Lives?
Others lives carefully. Others prefer to make spontaneous decisions. What is your opinion? Why not? Why do you think some people find it harder to make decisions than others? Do you think countries should work together to solve environmental problems? Why not? How do you think young people can be helped to take on responsibilities? Do you think that people whose jobs involve making important decisions should be highly paid? Why not?
Well, in this part of the interview, the examiner will start with one question. But you're supposed to answer, and after you finish with your answer or expressing your opinion, you will have to ask the other candidate. For example, I am I am one of the candidates. And the interviewer says, is it best for people to make decisions on their own or to ask others for advice? Well, in my case, I believe it is really useful to ask for advice, but I try to take my decisions on my own after considering many opinions. What do you think, Lou? And then Lou gives her opinion, and she can develop a longer answer, and then the interviewer will ask another question. Or you can also ask questions to your partner. For example, she says that for her, it is not easy to ask for advice because she's very timid. And I ask, well, Lou, but don't you think it is better to get over this fear and in order to develop a better decision? And she answers. So we can continue with the interaction, but the interviewer, if he sees that the interaction or the conversation stopped, he's going to choose another question. I think, well, and also something that you should remember, part 4 and part 3 are totally related. They are the same topic. As you can see, for example, part 3 was about making decisions. What people might consider or have to consider in these different aspects. And then they continue with these questions. Questions about taking decisions. Well, we will, in the next classes, we are going to start checking these kind of parts of the interview one by one. Okay? Well, questions, problems? No questions? Who says me? Yes? No? Yes, Lou. I think you have a question. I am not married.
Really, not really, teacher. The only thing that I consider that it's a little bit not not difficult, but we need to get used to this new way of this part of the exam, because of course it is a little bit different from the SCE. So practicing a little bit would be really useful.
We are going to have more practice. In this lesson, I just wanted to have like a general view of the speaking part. And next class, we are going to start with the unit. As Ere said, Isra, when are we going to start with the real exam, with the real preparation? Yes, next Wednesday. We start with unit 1. Next Wednesday. Yes, Diana. I am going to make the group in Google Classroom, and I am going to upload all the material for you. This presentation and the material for Unit 1 and the book that we are using, and all the audios and all the recordings will be there. Okay?
Excellent, teacher. Thank you.
Great. So next class, remember, we are going to start with Unit 1, and we are going to get ready for more practice.
Great, teacher. Thanks a lot.
Great.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, guys.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of the day, and see you next Wednesday.
Likewise,
See you.
teacher,
See you
to all of
guys.
you.
See you.
you.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys. Enjoy.